Welcome to Victory Lane Radio. Get ready for another episode of New England's favorite racing talk show. Join us as Eric and Al talk about your favorite tracks and drivers. The action starts now.
This is CLNS Radio, the home of Internet Sports Talk Radio.
He's a driver of the number 27 unique4.com e-keys for cars, Bernhardt Automotive Ford Fusion, and, of course, a two-time New Hampshire NASCAR state champion. Oh, and by the way, he's a reigning Lee Speedway small block super modified champion, racking up 3 wins, 14 top 5s, and 17 starts, driving for the Whitcomb brothers. He is Wayne Helliwell Jr., and we are Victory Lane Radio. How you doing, Wayne?
Very good, yourself?
Man, interview's over. I'm tired now.
Yeah, right. Hey, thanks a lot. It was nice to talk to you.
No, we can let you off the hook that easy, my friend.
How's everything?
Hey, is Bruce there?
He's in the shop working on the car right now.
All right, well, tell him we said hello anyway.
Oh, okay, I will.
Okay. So what's going on in the race shop tonight anyway?
Tonight we're just doing some finishing up touches, changing plugs, putting a different set of gears in the car, just little odds and ends, getting ready for the weekend.
You guys, now that you've won both of the Blue Oval challenges, you guys are hogging them all to yourself. Is that one of the things you guys talk about as a goal going into 2012? Obviously,
yes.
It's the ACT Championship, for your late model program, but is that one of the things that, you're kind of like, hey, let's grab a third one while we're at it?
Yeah, exactly. That's a big priority on the list. That kind of money that they post, that you just can't look away from that. And we plan on running, the full ACT tour, and as well as doing full time at Canaan on Saturday night. So with that, we should be able to get enough races in, and then whenever we have an off weekend, if there is any, we'd like to squeeze in whether it's Waterford or Claremont Speedway to get a couple extra races.
It does seem like if you look at the races and stuff, you guys are racing a little more than like the other Ford guys, like Joey Pole, Luce, a bunch of the other Ford guys. That's definitely got to be an advantage for you guys, huh? You guys are
really
always
is,
sneaking wins here and there.
Yeah, especially with with the Ford Cup, because it's just the more races you can get in, it's your best 18 finishes. So the more you can get in, the better odds you have. And Bruce, loves to race as much as I do, and the last 2 or 3 seasons, the budgets allowed us to race that much. So
right.
We're really lucky in that aspect.
Well, you're a heck of a runner, and you finished second in points last year for the American Canadian Tour. You're definitely one of the favorites. You could be humble all you want, Wayne, but let's get real here. You're one of the favorites 2012. What are your thoughts going into your second full season on the tour? See, I thought it was your third, fourth, but this is your second full season, huh?
Yep. Up until last year, we've only maybe tried to show up for a Lee race or maybe an Oxford race or something like that, but last year was the first full season, and a couple of the tracks was the first time we've ever been to those tracks. So there was a big learning curve, going to those speedways, even like White Mountain. We've been there in the past in Pro Stocks and things like that, but never with a late model. So even that, we were close, but we still had to do a lot of work while we were there, and I think even the return visit this year should be able to make improvements. We kept really good notes, so I got high hopes for this season.
Absolutely. So, hey, Al and I were talking off the air before you came on about your little ride at Devil's Bowl. Now, of course, Al got pictures, I got pictures, Leaf got pictures. You went up in the air quite a ways, more than I thought originally, until I looked at my pictures and I was like, holy cow. You were up in the air, Bruno and Bates, and what happened?
Yep. I think it really, honestly, I think it was the first lap of the heat race, and if I remember right, I think Bruno went to go 3 wide to the low side, and
he did.
Whoever was in the middle, I think, moved down as well. It was just a racing deal, and the way the cars turned, there was no time to react. It was just, next thing I know, it was up and over the cars, and the car took off in the air, slammed down on the ground, went over the embankment, jumped over another embankment, and it slid. I've never slid so long in a car. And all I could see, I watched the pond. There's a pond out there, and I seen the pond getting closer and closer. I'm like, oh my God,
boy.
I'm drowned. But that was a first, and it looked like there was a pool inside the car, and then I see the tractor coming over to get me, and that's never a good sign.
No, so you guys, it takes you a while. It takes them a while to get you out of there. I mean, mud everywhere. Basically, your front sheet metal is done. Your front nose is gone. You guys go into pits. You work your asses off to get back out there. You come out. You're smiling. I mean, was it just a win-win just to get back out there after what happened?
It really was. When they got the car back to the speedway and they had put it down, and I was doing my best to look at it, and I couldn't believe the tires were all still up and they were pointing in the right direction. So you automatically go right to, let's see what we can do to get it fixed. And everything that was bent and wrong we had with us. So it was just a matter of time of, getting the car cleaned up, getting everything cut off, and swapping stuff. And it was the first time I've ever left the speedway to go power wash the car anyway.
It was something because Bates was right behind you or in front of you. I can't remember power washing his rig to get back out there, but it was a hell of a ride, and to have a big smile on you guys' face, it was a testament to how good of a team how rock solid you guys really are.
Yeah, and there was a lot of other teams that just jumped in. People we didn't know. I know there was a couple guys that were just fans walking by, and they jumped right in and helped as well. So it was more than just a team effort. Everybody pitched in.
Right.
You can't ask for a better group of guys. A lot of the guys on the tour. We've made a lot of good friends over last season. And for instance, one of the races, I think we were in St. Croix, and Randy Potter and his team. They had a motor go south, and he came in, couldn't run no more, and they actually pitted our car on pit stop. So it's like just a really good bunch of guys.
Oh, nice. That's good when you can do that on a competitive tour like the ACT Tour.
Exactly.
If you're just joining us, we're talking to perennial front runner on whatever he runs, Wayne Helliwell Jr. So give us a call toll-free, 877-516-6880. Now, you don't, and this is such a hard fact for me to believe. I mean, I know it's true, but you don't have an ACT win yet.
No,
how can that be?
We've come close, really close, and keeps on. Something silly will happen, especially the Lee shows. 2 or 3 times right in a row here, we've had something go wrong. But I would like to think we're capable of it. We just got to be in the right place at the right time, and things got to just align just right.
Hello.
Hey, you there? Hello.
Hey, wow. Boy,
hey.
Eric just kind of disappeared all of a sudden.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know where he went, but what about your small block supermod deal?
We over the winter we re-signed with that, so we're going to do the Friday night deal again. We'll have that Saturday up there for practice. So the team has built another car, a new car over the winter, so we got high hopes with that as well.
Yeah. Now,
right.
was there a learning curve going to those things as compared to the late model? I mean, you did have experience in a modified, but had you ever run a super before last year?
Back quite a few years ago, I drove one twice for Marco Turcotte, and we had good success. The learning curve, it's different. The adjustments on the cars are different, a lot different actually. But driving style-wise, it's really not all that much different. The same thing, they have small tires, crate motor as well, so it's all the same.
All right, I'm back.
You abandoned us temporarily.
This is disappointing, I tell you what. I mean, this is, pardon me, Wayne, this is just a thing that's been pissing me off for a while, so. See, I read that you were like, oh, this ought to be good with this, because you're not, I think you tweeted that you're not a talker, and it's like, well, you can't be a talker if your host drops out. Jesus, I tell you what.
Exactly right.
I tell you what, talk about amateur hour here. But I'm not sure where I'm glad you took over, Al. Of course, when I drop out. But you were talking about the small block super modified. I would take it.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. You are a multi-time track champion at Lee. You got a limited late title, right, at Lee?
Yes. Yep.
Is that what they call those limited lates? Yeah.
They call them street stock.
Oh, is it? Okay. I thought it was like a limited late.
Nope.
And, of course, that's coincidentally where the ACT starts this Sunday. You got a little home field advantage going on or what? You got to have, right?
You would like to think so. We've got plenty of laps in there, and, just last season there, or 2 seasons ago, we ran there full time. So, we got some good notes on all that stuff, and we're gonna go this weekend with something that we haven't tried before and see if we can make the car or lap times faster and stuff like that. So I really do have high hopes for this weekend.
All right. This begs the question, and I have to ask you, and obviously I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything. Now, you finished second. I promise. This is just
yeah, right.
I want to know. No, Wayne, come on, you finished second in points.
Yep.
Last year, a couple wins would Brian Hoare is just another universe right now. And I think everybody will admit that, even he will. He's kind of like, what the hell? He can't believe this is happening sometimes. But so you finished second in points. You were ahead of third place by 60, I think. I'm just going off memory here, but why try something new? I guess why not go back to what was working?
For the Lee show?
Yeah. Is that because you didn't run good here?
I can answer that for him, because if you're a racer, you're never satisfied. You're always going to try to get better. You can win by a lap and a half, and you're going to come back with a different setup because you can improve on it.
Yeah, but what if you go too far is what I'm trying to get at.
You get all your notes and go back to where you were.
Yeah.
Basically, bottom line, that's what it boils down to. We know where we've been. We won Oktoberfest at the end of the season.
Right.
So I have that set up. It's ready to throw right in the car. So I think I'd be shame on me if we didn't try something new and see if we could pick up some speed.
Yeah, you see, that's how, when I worked on them, that's how we always thought, too. You can't ever be satisfied. You've always got to be looking for the next edge, because if you're satisfied, pretty soon you're not running for the win. You're running for 5th or 8th.
Exactly. Yep, I agree.
Is that why I never led a lap?
You never led a lap, and you never started on the pole, so you led some pace laps?
I never started closer than 7th.
Oh.
4 years, Wayne.
Really?
Yeah. I sucked. Unlike you. 2-time state champion. So let's talk a little bit more about the super modified deal, because I didn't hear a minute of what you guys are talking about. Now, you're obviously going to defend that championship, I would take it?
Yep, we re-signed to run the season again. So, like I was saying, we'll have the car there this weekend. We're going to practice on Saturday, and I think we're going to do like a little exhibition thing on Sunday, I think during intermission, just to give the fans a show what we do on Friday nights. They do that every year with those guys, right, I think? Yep. All right, so you're going to be full-time at Kane, and you're going to be... Is the super modified, is that full-time once the race season gets underway on Fridays? Yes, that's, I think, from the beginning of May on, it's every Friday night. You're going to be a busy guy. Yeah, we plan. I think we got like 56, 57 races on the schedule right now for this season. Jesus. So does that mean, Wayne, you're going to try and run every once in a while, like at Groveton, the Clash of the Titans, and maybe a few other races like that that are big dollar? Yep, exactly. We're gonna hit as many races as we can this summer. So ultimately, you're going to win the League Crown. You're going to finish real well in the Canaan Crown because maybe there's a conflict or two with the ACT Tour. Yep. And then you're going to win the ACT Crown, so that'll mean you'll also be the New Hampshire NASCAR champion by a mile, because I don't think anybody else is going to run a Super Friday night and a late model Saturday night for New Hampshire NASCAR points. No, and I believe they dropped the modifieds at Monadnock this year, I believe. Yeah, so, it's a different, I think it's either the Sport Mods or the whatever their late model limited, whatever you want to call them, is one of the others. I believe they went to the Sport Mods, and I don't even know if they run every week. It might be an every other week deal. So it would look good, as long as we can hang in there and do the Canaan and the lead deal. One of my big goals is to get a podium finish at the year end for the NASCAR Awards Banquet. I'd love to finish in the top three, and it's been a real hard deal with running just on a Friday night. We don't have enough races to compete with the guys down south, so this way we can get about 32, 34 races in and make our odds a lot better.
Yeah, that's what it seems like you need.
And the other thing about the NASCAR deal, I mean, if we started our handicaps up here the way they do down in the south, somebody from the north would win it every single year because, we all do handicapping and don't do time trial crap. And exactly. They do time trial crap, and the fast guys start on the pole. So, yeah, where's the competition? Exactly. To me, that would get boring.
You would think as a driver it would. Every once in a while it would be nice to start up front, but when you're doing the weekly deal, I think the faster cars, or they do by money one, I think that's a good program for the weekly shows.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's what you seem like. You need 30, 35 races. If you look at the national standings, they're all 30, 35. They're not 15, 16 ever.
Yeah, exactly, because they take your best 18 races.
Right.
So we usually don't even get the minimum amount. So this year
will
just make our odds a lot better.
Yeah, they take the best 18 races, and you can win 5 or 6 at each track. That'll put you in pretty darn good position.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that the car count as well for that night adds into the point system as well. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but the more cars, the better.
Absolutely. Right. So how much of a payday is this state championship anyway?
The state championship this year, I think, will be $6,000.
There you go.
I think so. It's $2,000 per track that's a NASCAR member, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
And Monadnock, Canaan, and Lee are the 3 members. So hence the champions were $6,000.
Yep.
And you throw your chunk of change.
Throw your blue oval deal on top of it, and then the championships from the respective tracks and ACT. Well, if everything goes good from you, you'll be looking good.
That'll be a nice end of the year bonus.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, for our listeners who aren't familiar with you, how did you get your start in racing? When did you start, and where? Family history in racing, and I'm sure not everybody knows where you came from.
Yeah, I grew up going to racing. My dad was the only family member that we've had in the family that's ever raced, and he got started back at Hudson Speedway back in the early 80s through just a friend that was running his mouth talking about how good he was, and Dad was into cars, so he cut my swing set up and put a roll cage in the car and went over there and beat that guy, and then that led to one thing, led to another, and he's been racing ever since. So I just had to follow his footsteps, and we got I think it was in 91, I think it was a Lincoln Town Car or a Grand Marquis, and made like a rookie car to run over at Hudson, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah, that's how it usually works.
Yeah.
It's a costly addiction.
That's for sure.
And kind of bouncing around here, but do you plan on running any super late model or pro stock races this year?
We had talked about it over the winter, and we were leaning towards it, and then last minute we changed our minds, and I think we're just going to stick with the late models and give it our best shot this summer, and then over the winter maybe build a super late model and try that for next season. But the goal is to do really well with the late models this summer.
Yeah, and you know, most people don't realize that when you went to Wall with your late model, you were running against cars that were, well, had a lot more horsepower than you. Yeah,
they had. We had talked to them earlier in the week, and they had given us the rule package. So we had gone down with, you know, our normal crate motor that we run on the tour with the 2-barrel, And when we got down there, they had open motors with 4 barrels. Apparently they had changed the rules, so we didn't bring the 4 barrel with us, so we were at a disadvantage. But that little thing got it done down there. Almost won, came really, really close, pushed the guy across the line, but just didn't have enough to get it there.
What's your take on that track? Isn't that that's a little bit different than any of the ones up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got probably a little bit more banking than on Thunder Road. The straightaways are probably about the size of Star, and it's really, really tight. And I really enjoy going down there at the end of the season. It's a blast. I wish it would be nice if Tom could work a deal to get an act race down there. I think they'd put on an awesome show.
Hey, it's funny you mentioned that. He is actually working on that track.
Yeah, that would be great.
As well as Stafford and Thompson.
Yeah, those would be all great tracks to go to.
That would be sweet. Well, Al, before I drop out again, you got anything else?
No, I'm out of questions. At least for now.
Oh, when I talked to you this morning, you were in a hole.
Yeah, I was in a ditch digging out a fire hydrant.
You got to get it to where you're actually racing for a living, Wayne. So
that would be nice.
Get to that level, of course. Yeah. When you get to that level, you forget us little guys. So maybe you need to stay there so we can interview you again. Well, hey, you did good, man.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
It wasn't so bad, was it?
No, not at all. It was harmless.
All right. Well, hey, best of luck to you, Wayne, and tell Bruce we said hello.
All right, I will do so.
And catch Wayne in the familiar Dion Orange, number 27 at Lee Speedway this weekend. Thanks a lot, Wayne.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too.